to the program. State-owned operator of Ukraine's United Power Grids, Ukrenergo, signed an agreement on Ukraine's accession to the European energy system. The decision took several years of hard work and negotiations. To enlighten us more, we're joined in the studio today by Vsevolod Kovalchuk, CEO at Ukrenergo. Hello, and thank you for coming. So my first question would be, of course, what does this agreement would mean for Ukraine as a state?
It's a complicated question, of course, because it's agreement not about connection. It's agreement about conditions of further connection, future connection. But it's a very important first stage. We tried, I'm speaking about Ukraine, about electricity sector of Ukraine, we tried to do it 4 times before. First was in 2006. And then after changing some politics in Ukraine, Ukraine hadn't enough efforts to push this process, to push it on an international level, because it's a goal of national companies to be a part of energy system of Europe. It's not a goal for power system of Europe.
You mentioned there's a list of conditions on this agreement for future cooperation. Could you dwell a little bit more on the conditions? What are they?
It's different types of conditions. It's a technical measurement, and we can't open whole list because it's confidential agreement between 42 companies from Europe and Ukrenergo and Electrica in Moldova. So totally we can speak only about common things. The first of them is that we need to have the same quality of our electricity in Ukraine, in our power system, as in Europe, because now it's not so good. We need to have possibilities to balance ourselves without help from abroad. Now Russia balance our power system. It's a big problem for Ukraine.
What are the ways of balancing our own system on our own? What should be done?
We need to have additional capacity, because bigger system has more capacities. So in case of some failures inside a country, they have enough ready to use, ready to operate capacities for balancing, for improve more power in this time. In Ukraine, in our current situation, with some deficits of coal and very small demand in Ukraine, we haven't enough internal capacities to balance ourselves without help from abroad. So we need to use existing connections with Russia, and they balance us each hour, each minute. We don't import electricity from Russia, but we supply them 1 hour, then they supply us next hour. Total balance is 0, but inside 1 day, 1 month, or 1 year, we have a lot of flows between our countries, and we use their power to balance, to have a stability in our power system. So main part of technical requirements for us in a new agreement, new signed agreement, is how to modernize our equipment in thermal power plants, nuclear power plants, how to manage this equipment from central regulator, from Ukrenergo, our company, to have possibilities to balance ourselves without any connections. After fulfillment of this list of technical requirements, we will have isolated mood period, not more than 1 year, without any connections. And in case of successful operations inside this isolated period, only then we can connect to Europe grid.
Let's say it happened. You fulfilled all the requirements and this happened. What kind of position would that leave Russia in, energetically?
Russian power system don't need Ukrainian power system. They're stable. But we have a lot of issues about politics, because we will have much more level of our energy and economical independence without Russia. So they will have not so big influence as now. So of course I think a lot of efforts from Russia's side will be on not to agree Ukraine be a part of Europe energy power system. I think in nearest 1 or 2 years it will be a lot of different events a lot of propaganda about huge costs Ukraine need to connect, a lot of problems after connecting, and others.
And how European Union is just going to use and abuse Ukrainian energy sector. That has already started, if I'm not mistaken.
They started in 1 hour after this event last Wednesday.
The quick reaction. But anyway, when Poland integrated into the European energy system 15 years ago, it created a high level of competition on their internal market and resulted in the prices drop of 30%. What does this agreement, I mean Ukraine's agreement with EU about future integration into the European energy system, mean for ordinary Ukrainians? Does it mean that we'll have cheaper prices?
It's a main goal of this activity, because our part is only technical issues. We need to create possibilities for further market coupling. After market coupling, because it's not automatical process, it needs some efforts from our government, national regulator in electricity sector, but we can couple our markets after synchronization of our grids. So after coupling markets, all suppliers, producers from Europe could be participant on our internal market and vice versa. Our suppliers and producers could be participants there.
Yes.
So in any case, the level of competition will grow up, will increase in times, in 10 times, maybe more. And with high level of competition, prices, of course, will be lower than now. So for consumer, only good news about this process.
Any forecast on the price drop? Could it be like in Poland, 30%, maybe even more?
Now we can't speak about it, because we need to compare prices before connection and after connection in 1 year. But our further connection will be in 3, 4, 5 or 6 years after. So we can't compare prices, today's prices in Ukraine, with further potential prices in 5 years. But in any case, they will be much lower than without connection.
Okay. Ukraine is already considered to be a serious competitor on the EU energy market, but according to standards of Europe, Ukrainian energy is considered to be dirty because, for example, if we take Germany into consideration, 40% of energy produced there is made out of renewable sources. And if we talk about Ukraine on this matter, in year 2012, there was a number of only 3.8%. Today is the year 2017. Has there been any progress on the numbers?
I can say about numbers or digits, but we can compare Ukrainian energy mix, power mix, with other countries in Europe. Poland has a lot of thermal power plants that use coal as a fuel. More than 80% in their balance. France use more than 60 or 70% in their balance nuclear power. We have mix in Ukraine of nuclear, coal, hydro and renewables. We have the same level of emissions if we speak about carbon as thermal power plants in Poland, for example. So I am not sure that question about is Ukrainian energy clean or not, it's a main question in real. It's maybe some political arguments from Germany, from other countries, because now they have much bigger level of renewables than all other countries in Europe. But in Ukraine, we have the same vector. Capacity of renewable power plants in Ukraine increasing each month. And in 5 years, we will have 3-5 times more part of renewables in our energy mix.
That's good news. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for such an informative conversation.
Thank you, John.
That was Vsevolod Kovalchuk, CEO at Ukrenergo. Thank you so much for watching and goodbye.